If you guys want to stay up to date and have a place to find some day one raid squads, a link to my Discord server is in the description below. Yo, what's going on guys? It's G-Miners here. In my recent shotgun testing video, I tested Legend of Acrius, and you guys pointed out that I missed some damage. In game, it shows 12 pellets hitting when the gun shoots 15 pellets, and I also completely missed the initial arc blast damage that it deals. Assuming both of these hit, this would increase the damage of Acrius by over 50%, so basically, I really fucked up. When I tested before, Acrius was sitting around 50 to 55,000 damage per second, compared to Izzy and Rockets at 67k and 10-shot Cataclysmic at 77k. This didn't seem too bad overall, but with a 50% increase, Acrius could be wild. Before I get into any testing, if this video does help you guys out, make sure to drop a like and sub down below. Subbing takes 2 seconds, it's completely free, and you can always change your mind later. So in game, you can see that I do only hit 12 pellets on this Lost Sector boss, which is what I was using before, but if I shoot Acrius at a wall, you can count a total of 15. Since each pellet deals 5,000 damage in our testing method, this would be 15k damage not included, and then on top of this, the arc blast that Acrius shoots appears super low on the screen for some reason, so this would be another 16k damage on top of that I missed. In total, this would bring our damage up from 60,000 to 91.4 thousand. Just to prove that these extra pellets do actually count as damage, I tested it out on Prisia. Here we hit slightly different damage numbers, which is fine, but if you count once again, the game shows 12 pellets hitting at 4240 damage each, and right at the bottom, the arc blast hits for 13.7k. If you add all of this up, it comes to 64.6 thousand damage, which clearly we were over. And then if you end up adding another 3 pellets worth of damage that doesn't show up, we now hit for 77.3 thousand, which is exactly what our damage shows in game. Knowing this and using the previous damage numbers, 5,000 damage per pellet and the 16k from the arc blast comes out to 91,000 damage per shot with Acrius. Rallying with double reserves gives us 15 shots in total, which then brings this up to 1.37 million total damage, which is on par with 20 shots from Cataclysmic. So this thing deals a ton of damage in total. In my previous video, we found that shell loading after the first mag was the most efficient way to deal damage. I ran this test a few times to see the fastest I could get damage off. Acrius is also extremely hard to shell load with compared to normal shotguns. Obviously, it's much slower in reload and handling, but you can see side by side how inconsistent the single shell loading is compared to legendary shotguns. For the first test I did, I just used the weapon's base reload speed, and I also tested shell loading all 15 rounds, and then just loading each round after the first mag was shot off. The time for each of these was only a few milliseconds off, so at base, reloading either way doesn't really make much of a difference. This took 15.62 seconds. The 1, 2, and 3 mag DPS values can be seen on screen now. 1 mag would end up being 6 shots, 2 mags is 12, and then 3 mag would be the full reserves, which is only 15 shots in total. The DPS value for shooting all 15 shots off comes in at 87,000 damage, which is 10k higher than Cataclysmic, and also gets off its total damage in this amount of time, where Cataclysmic for the same amount of damage would take 5 seconds longer. After this first test, I ended up throwing in Well of Radiance and Lunas and testing a bunch with that. Disappointingly, because Well speeds up the reload, it makes the shell loading a way higher chance to just not work. So Well of Radiance and Lunas are pretty much useless with Acrius unless you just want the range. After this, I kept Well of Radiance and Lunas on, and then also added 1 shotgun loader mod. I figured this might speed up the reload a bit and make up for when the single shell loading messed up. 1 copy combined with Lunas will still increase reload speed because of the multipliers you get, but overall, it still made the time to get shots off worse because it either wasn't applied to Acrius or just made the single shell loading way less consistent. Since the reload on its own did start to feel super fast, I did try fully reloading Acrius and then shooting once again. This took 18 seconds flat, so just like before, this is much worse than even the base reload that we saw in the beginning. I also tested Rain of Fire again. In my previous video, this was also worse than just loading single shells, but this time I tried it with double shotgun dexterity so that Acrius would ready quicker. It definitely helped out, but only shaved off 600 milliseconds. I would say this is actually super worthwhile if you are trying to move in a boss fight like Consecrated or Rolk, but still slightly worse than just base shell loading. And then finally, I tested single loader and double loader by themselves to see if there were any changes, and there were none. We hit the exact same time that we did for almost every other test, so it seems like just having any extra reload speed with Acrius doesn't help at all. So overall, it seems like Acrius on its own is still dealing great amounts of damage and is currently one of the best DPS options in the game. I would say it's a lot better than Cataclysmic and Izzy Rockets as long as you can get close to bosses and manage to hit all the pellets. Since there also isn't any crazy way to increase DPS, all you really need is well for the extra range and you're pretty much set. I know some people will also wonder why I didn't go and test Radiant Dance Machines, and the reason is that if Rain of Fire doesn't help, neither will that. The only reason Radiant Dance Machines are good on 4th Horseman is because you skip every reload, but we also did that running Rain of Fire, so more dodges isn't going to help out. Anyways, that's all for this video, guys. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. As always, have a good one. Peace.